And I feel like this is also just to open up to the people here too, because I'm sure a lot of people feel this way with diversity statements, that not only is it kind of like that imposter syndrome when you're writing this, but there's kind of that, I guess, feeling of just being, maybe it's not adequate enough or not, whatever, but kind of dismissing those feelings of, this was a hardship or this was something that I could bring to the table, but then feeling like, no, like, there's so many people that I know that's so resilient and they've struggled and really overcome it. So who am I? Like, what really do I bring, So how do you guys overcome that?
I think something that really stood out to me that even Steve mentioned earlier on this call is like, anything that has to do with real people and real experiences. And when I really put in the time and thinking about it, I get more detailed, I realize that I have a full, obligation to show up as powerfully as I can. Like, my experiences completely matter. I have full agency here on the earth. And the more detail I get with myself, I guess the real thing is the more honest I am with myself, the easier it gets to feel confident about it because it's real.
I would add too, also research. You mentioned earlier, when you go to an institution because you're spending your money, you want to see what kind of faculty and staff you have. As a graduate student, what I found, even when I had to conduct my grad research, even though I used everyone within my graduate program, there were several of my classmates who had to write their thesis with outside professors within the university. So, that's something you want to think about. If I'm going to go to this school, if they have a study abroad program, how do you fit within that? Like, every one of us has a skill set. We are going to add values to wherever we go. And keep in mind too, if you want to conduct environmental justice, you might want to go to Vermont, right? Law school. Or if you want to deal with entertainment law, maybe you want to go to UCLA. So you know where you want to go. Focus on that because it's so crucial and so important for you. You are valuable. So when you utilize your personal statements and your personal story, tie that in. Like, I remember writing about Lima Gobi, which was this, I'm an African-American woman, never been to Africa before. But when I saw her on PBS and I was like, they're like elderly, but they're older women protesting and they're wearing all white. And it really inspired me, and I was really passionate about that. But when I wrote that in my personal statement, they didn't, I didn't include whether or not I went to Africa. It was just like this TV segment that inspired me to want to fight for, women's rights, human security, things like that. So I hope that helps. And, personal statements are important, but definitely tie that into a professor who's already doing research, maybe, sometimes reach out to those professors ahead of time. Hey, I'm thinking about going to the school. I know when I wanted to do research in Mozambique, I reached out to a professor across the country and, she was doing research, and so things like that, if you have time, that's my advice, because when they're reading your admissions letter, they want to know, like, you're serious about these things. And don't be afraid to call them too ahead of time. Sometimes you're a little bit shy about calling people. I know the GRE has it. I'm not sure about the LSAT, but it's like what the GRE had a character strength type of survey. And so that's what I use to get in my graduate program. So I basically had people anonymously, or people I knew, they just talked about my character. I didn't get to see it, but the school saw it. So that's my advice. I hope it helps.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.